When it comes to a villain, there's usually two types of villain. The villain that low-key makes sense. Yes, you don't agree with their methods and how they're going about it, but you can low-key see where they're coming from. And the villain that is just pure evil. They do shit out of straight hatred. They don't got no reason to be this evil. They were just born this way. Well, in today's video, I'm gonna be going over some of the most irredeemable villains in anime. Doflamingo. Now, when we first learned about Doflamingo, I low-key felt bad for him, I'm not gonna lie, because his backstory started off with him being a celestial dragon, living on top of the world, getting treated like a straight king, to now getting beaten every single day just because he was a king. Now, if I was him, I would have crashed out too, because I'm getting beaten every single day just because I was a king. His mother died. Him and his brother are getting literally tortured by random people every single day, and now him and his family are tied up against the wall about to get killed. Of course he's gonna crash out. It wasn't until I seen this guy slime out his own father in cold blood that I realized that this nigga is irredeemable. I understand where Doflamingo was coming from, because let's be honest, if you were in his position, you would be mad too. Imagine living like a king, getting grapes fed to you. Now you're down here living with the peasants, getting jumped every single day and tortured just because you were a king. I would be hot too, and I would take my anger out of my father. But after he shot his father right in front of his brother, I realized there's no saving Doflamingo. There's no type of character development he could go through to make this guy good. He's pure evil. Not only did he kill his father, but he did the same exact thing to his brother 20 years later. Slimed him out, killed him in cold blood. But his brother's situation was totally different. I understand his brother had to go, because his brother was working for the Marines the whole time, telling him everything Doflamingo was doing. This guy was an op. He had to die. It was just how he killed his brother. He shot him once. You would think that would be enough, but no. This boy Doflamingo decides to dump the entire clip on his dead body, leaving his brother's lifeless body there with multiple bullet holes. This nigga Doflamingo is a pure demon, because what type of sick and twisted boy does that? This man is your own brother and you put multiple bullet holes in him. There's no redeeming this guy. Mahito. Now, Mahito is probably the most sick and twisted villain I've seen in my entire life. I still don't forgive that boy Mahito for what he did to my boy Jun. Jun was a sweet and innocent boy. Mahito saw this lonely boy that gets bullied a lot, and he thought, you know what, I'ma manipulate him and use him to my advantage. So this boy Mahito manipulates this guy Jun into thinking that Itadori is the reason why his mother died. Whole time it was Mahito who planted Sukuna's fingers in his home. That's the reason why the cursed spirits appeared, and that's the reason why his mother died. But Mahito, the sick and twisted man he is, convinced Jun that it's Itadori's fault, turning Jun into a villain. So now he's walking around attacking random people, and obviously Itadori has to stop him. They got into a little scruffle. He stops him, but it's too late. Mahito pulls up and turns Jun into a creature, and that's when my heart broke, because I realized that once Jun got turned into this, there's no way he's coming back to being a regular human. And Itadori does everything in his power to try to save this boy Jun, to try to get him back to the man he is, but he realizes he can't do anything, and Jun just sadly passes away. And that's when I realized this nigga Mahito is a sick and twisted man. And that wasn't even the worst thing Mahito did. You would think after Itadori and Nanami literally jumped this boy, they whooped his ass into oblivion, you would think he would stop being a villain and lay low for a little bit. But no, this demon was back at it again, terrorizing people in Shibuya. So he pulls up, he's in Shibuya now, and he runs into none other than Nanami again. And this boy Mahito is not forgetting about the jumping that him and Itadori did to him. So what does he do to Nanami? He pulls up on him and kills him right in front of Itadori. This nigga is a pure villain. He had no remorse. He did it with a smile on his face. He does everything in his power to make Itadori's life a living hell. And Itadori is not taking that shit lightly, literally walking this boy down, wanting to kill him. And this slippery, slimy guy, Mahito, obviously escapes again and gets captured by Geto. This boy Mahito is probably the most sick and twisted villain in anime. Eren Yeager. Now, I'm a Yeagerist myself, but I'm gonna be honest, that boy Eren Yeager is irredeemable after the rumbling. And I understand the reason why he did the rumbling was so that his friends can live a normal and happy life without being bothered by the Marleyans anymore, without anyone dying anymore. But let's be for real, the rumbling was one of the most gruesome things I'd ever seen in fiction. That boy Eren killed millions of innocent people just because of the Marleyans' actions. Now, if he was only to kill the Marleyans and the Marleyans that are solely affecting him and his friends, but no, he went out of his way to kill a bunch of innocent people. Now imagine a little girl was outside playing with her family, having a good time. She's Marleyan. Now she's getting stomped out by a giant Shaquille O'Neal sized foot just because Eren Yeager wants his friends to live a good life. So now you got innocent people dying just so your friends could have a good life. There's no saving this boy Eren. And I understand there's a bunch of Eren defenders out there. I was one of him too. I think that was the only way Eren could have completed his plan, was doing the rumbling. But let's be honest, there's no saving a guy that's killing millions millions of people. He had to go out. He had to die at the end of Attack on Titan. There was no redeeming qualities left of Eren Yeager after he did the rumbling. All for One. Now, I used to think there was a reason why All for One was so evil. I used to think he had some type of backstory, some type of trauma that happened to him back in the past that made him the way he is, and that's the reason why he's becoming this evil, heinous criminal. But no, I was completely wrong. When I watched this boy's backstory, I just realized he is a sick and twisted man, because we watched this boy kill his own mother. We watched this boy eat all the nutrients in his mother's womb so his brother could stay tiny and malnourished. And once he came out the womb, once his mother died, he realized his brother was so weak, so useless. He decided to say, you know what, you're my property. Here, I'm gonna hand you a cork, because he thought this boy was corkless. Whole time he didn't know this boy had a latent cork that had the ability to pass down corks. So once he found out he had the ability to pass down corks, obviously his brother started passing down the cork, and that's what created One for All. So now this boy, All for One, the whole reason he went on this crazy tyrant, the whole reason he went on this 100-year spree of just killing people was because he wanted to get his brother back, which he said was his first property. This boy, All for One, went on this crazy killing spree, went on this crazy 100-year reign of just doing heinous acts to get One for All back just because he wanted his first property back, which was his brother. Now, that is a sick man. Boy, All for One was probably the greatest written villain and probably the most irredeemable villain. Light Yagami. I can already hear all the Light Yagami defenders coming in the comments starting to say,
well, the reason why he did what he did is because he got corrupted by the Death Note. The Death Note made him psychotic. That's why he started doing all that stuff.
Yeah, I hear that. But there is still no redeeming qualities left of Light Yagami after he did what he did. He started off pretty innocent, started killing off criminals that were doing heinous crimes. I was like, okay, I could understand that. They gotta go. They were doing all these heinous crimes. Then he started going off by killing people that were associated with crimes. That's when it got to the point where I'm like, okay, he's getting a little bit too far, but I'm still on his side. Then he got to the point where he completely lost the plot and started killing people just because they were finding out his identity or just because they were trying to stop him. That's where he lost me, because now you're starting to kill actual innocent people just because they're trying to stop you, just because they're trying to stop you from actually killing people. Like, I understand Light Yagami wanted to be a detective and wanted to take justice into his own hands, but when you get to the point where you just start sliming out innocent people, you're the same as the people that you were killing in the beginning. You're the same as these heinous criminals that you were taking out in the beginning. You're no different from them. This nigga Light Yagami completely lost the plot. He started losing his mind. He was doing everything in his power just to never get caught, that he was killing people, manipulating people, using people. We saw him use that girl. We saw him did to L. We saw him just kill innocent people just because they were discovering his identity. He completely went insane. Towards the end of Death Note, he became a monster and he had to die, and he got the ending he deserved. This nigga Light Yagami was straight up a monster. Now, even though these villains were completely heinous and absolutely terrible, I feel like we need some irredeemable characters nowadays. I don't want to always agree with my villain. Sometimes I want my villain just to be evil for the sake of being evil. That's the way I like it. But other than that, if you guys did enjoy the video, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe, and comment down below who you think is the most irredeemable character in anime. But other than that, it's your boy Midnight, and I'm out. Peace out.